Is The Last Jedi really all that bad? For that matter, when you dive into the DCEU and all that stuff, is it that bad? Let's dive into this conversation. Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durban, and this is just an informal conversation. Not a movie review, not a theological analysis, just an informal conversation that may contain a bunch of spoilers for Star Wars and some of the DCEU. So just kind of throwing that out there. I'm doing this video just to talk to you and hang out with you and get your thoughts on this, because last week, my entire family came out, like on my wife's side, all my in-laws came out. Every 4th of July, they all come out. We all have a blast and all that stuff. This year, my oldest nephews, they're 9 and 7. I mean, they're always excited about Star Wars, and they love Star Wars. Well, they haven't seen The Last Jedi, and they found out I owned it, and so they were begging their parents, can we please see The Last Jedi? And they're like, fine, you can go see The Last Jedi and all that stuff. And so what got me was how excited they were for The Last Jedi, because of all the toxicity that's out there against The Last Jedi, against the direction of Star Wars, and all this stuff that people say. And, you know, it's interesting, because my brother-in-law Marshall and I were having dinner one night last week, and we were just talking about this, and he and I have the same opinion about The Last Jedi. We saw it on the big screen, and we loved it. We got it on Blu-ray, and we didn't love it anymore. And I never hated the movie. I never did. Saw it twice on the big screen, and I thought it was fantastic. Got it on Blu-ray, and I went, what? Is this the same movie? Like, I mean, I was very disappointed in The Last Jedi when I got it on Blu-ray, and I'd seen it! What is the deal with that? I have a theory. I mean, I don't know if it's correct, but, you know, you hear so much hate online all over the place towards The Last Jedi. Petitions to have it be reshot and all that stuff. People tearing it apart all over the place. You have so much hate towards that at some point I'm wondering, did it just sink in? So all the criticism that I've heard is now highlighted, and so I see what everybody's talking about, and it kind of just tainted the experience of watching it on Blu-ray. I don't have the answer to that. It's just kind of an out there question, and I'm like, maybe that had something to do with it, or maybe I was just genuinely disappointed. You know, now that I've seen it and I know what to expect, I was left disappointed. But my brother-in-law, Marshall, he felt the same way about it. And so it's kind of like, okay, so maybe, who knows? But either way, we were disappointed. But he talked about movies that he's disappointed with, but when he watches it with his kids, it's a different experience. Like the prequel trilogy, he doesn't like it. But his kids love the prequel trilogy. They love it. They love Darth Maul. They love the double-bladed lightsaber. They love the lightsaber fights. They love Yoda. They flip and love Yoda. They're not critical about, was it the puppet in the first movie, then recovered in the Blu-rays with a CGI, and, you know, how bad or good did the puppet, or whatever. They don't care. They love Yoda. That's it. They don't care whether he's a puppet. They don't care if he's CGI. They love Yoda. And so all that stuff, they're just so excited about it. And so they like the prequels. And my brother-in-law was telling me, he goes, yeah, when I was watching it with them, I still don't like them, but I enjoyed them way more because I was watching it with them and I was kind of experiencing it through their eyes. So we pop in The Last Jedi with my nephews 9 and 7, and I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try to watch this through their eyes. And you know what I found? I found that I could do it. I was excited for them to watch this movie. I was excited for what was going to happen when they saw Luke throw the lightsaber over his shoulder. I know the internet's, you know, reaction to that, but I was curious for what their reaction was going to be when he looked at the lightsaber and went, woo! And they went, what? He threw it over his shoulder. And for them, it was a moment of intrigue and not a moment of, oh, it's so terrible. Like it was intriguing. Why did he do that, Daddy? And they were turning to their dad and going, why did he do that? And so he's trying to, you know, explain things as the movie goes. But I just found myself more and more excited for things. For instance, when Rey and Kylo join forces, like that scene is amazing. And they, you know, he kills Snoke and they fight the people in the red. My nephews were like, yeah! They were having a blast with that scene. It was one of their favorite scenes in the whole movie. And I was like so excited for that. And my hope rose with them that maybe this time in my viewing of the movie, Kylo will stay good. And then when he betrayed Rey again and tried to take the lightsaber, like, oh, he's still bad. And so, you know, that happened. And then when Luke shows up to face Kylo, I was so excited for them to see Luke show up and face Kylo, and then for the big reveal that Luke wasn't even there. And man, they ate it up, and they absolutely loved it. So feeding off of their experience, I have more fun with that movie than even when I saw it on the big screen. Still probably not my favorite of the Star Wars movies, and there's still some disappointment connected with that movie for sure, but it was different watching it through their eyes. And so when I look at how I talk about movies and stuff, it's so interesting to me because I can be pretty critical of the DCEU. The reason is I love DC and I love DC Comics. I think Man of Steel is a great movie. I think Wonder Woman is a great movie. I have faith Aquaman is going to be a great movie. BVS is entertaining to me, but overall a disappointment to me. Suicide Squad, I straight up don't like and never want to watch again. And Justice League is like BVS. It's entertaining to me, but overall a huge disappointment to me. But there's people out there that love it, and it just hits me. It's like, there's so much toxicity out there over flipping movies. And I feel like when we watch movies, we hold them to such high expectations, like these big cultural things like Star Wars, Marvel, and DC. Like, especially Star Wars and DC. Because when we were kids, we had Tim Burton's Batman, we had Christopher Reeve as Superman, we had the original Star Wars trilogy. We have these experiences that when we were kids and we watched them, they awed us and they wowed us. And so it sticks in our mind that way because when we were kids, we were watching them through the eyes of innocence. Now we've grown up and they're remaking Superman with Man of Steel. And we've had some bad incarnations before that. And so, you know, we're kind of going in with trepidation. And then they, you know, make another trilogy to Star Wars after a very disappointing prequel trilogy. So we go in with all this trepidation. We also go in with all of this unreasonably high expectation. And so, like, we're not watching these movies through the eyes of innocence anymore. We're watching it through, like, this critical eye. And I'm not trying to say that that's bad. I'm just saying it's like, what is the purpose of a film? It's escape, right? It's just to sit down and have fun. And I'm allowed to sit down and not have fun. I'm allowed to watch a movie and go, I'm disappointed. But does that mean I should get out and be toxic about it? No, it just means I didn't like it. It's not my taste. And it's part of what makes me unique. And, you know, if we all had the same taste, it would be a very boring world. So thank God that we're all different and we all have different tastes and we have a variety of different movies. And so I am overall disappointed with the DCEU. But man, I'd love to sit down and watch those movies with my nephews when they're a little bit older, maybe. And because, you know, they are pretty dark, and I think their parents would wait till they're a little bit older. But to watch it with their expectations, to watch it with their excitement, and share in that excitement again, because I'm just wondering how different will those viewings be? And sometimes I just go, would that be the more honest approach? I mean, all this hatred and bitterness towards Star Wars and all this stuff, but what if we watched it through the eyes of a child? What if we watched it through the eyes of innocence, realizing the real purpose of a film? The real purpose of the film is to entertain us and to take us out of reality. And if we don't like it, fine. Then that just doesn't line up with our taste, and we can move on and find something else we do like. You know, I mean, Star Wars, The Last Jedi, I'm not in a hurry to watch it again. It ain't my favorite. Is it a bad movie? Not to me. It's a mediocre movie. To my nephews, it's their favorite in the entire Star Wars saga. I kid you not, The Last Jedi is their favorite. And they got no bitterness connected to anything in Star Wars. They got no bitterness connected to anything. They have movies they like and they have movies they don't like. They just don't have bitterness connected with it. They have good, honest expectations for things because they're just expecting to go in and have fun with something. If they don't have fun with it, they move on. And if they do have fun with it, man, they love it. And so it's just, I don't know. And so it was really interesting to gain that experience and watch The Last Jedi through their eyes. And so it's something that I want to do for future movies is drop my expectations and drop where I just hold things to these super high levels and put them on these pedestals like Aquaman. I was talking to one of my other brother-in-laws and he has no interest in anything DC anymore. He has no more trust left for it, and I get it. And there's good reason to have no more trust left for the DCEU. There's been a lot of disappointment with it. But at the same time, it's just superheroes. It's a dude who dresses up like a bat, another guy who wears blue tights and a red cape and can shoot fire out of his eyes and fly. You know, a girl from an island where they never age and they have super strength. It's all ridiculous on the surface because it's just pretend. And it's just like, wow. If I could just let go of these super high crazeball expectations and just go into this with the eyes of innocence and enjoy it for what it is, how different would my experience be? And if I'm disappointed, I'm disappointed. Whatever. I mean, I was inspired this last week when it came to this. And so, I don't know. I'm going to try to watch movies with my nephew's excitement now and try to drop so much of that expectation and cynicism. It goes beyond critical because I think critical can be good, but it goes into cynicism. And so, like, I'm going to try to hold that back now and watch movies with more of that innocence, with more of that real expectation. This is just meant to entertain me. So let's just see if it does. So what do you think about that? I mean, Have you had a similar experience with that where you hear so much negativity in the Star Wars community, so much negativity in the DC community that you just want it to all shut up and just watch something through the eyes of innocence? And if you like it, great. If you don't like it, great, and move on. Like, what do you think about that? Is it different to watch a movie with a different expectation? Can you watch The Last Jedi, even if you hated it, with the same innocence that my nephews watched it and see if it gives you a different experience? I mean, like, what do you think about that? Let me know in the comments, and while you're there, hit the subscribe button to become a Durbanian, and hit the bell by the subscribe button so you're notified the next time I do a movie review, theological analysis, or anything else. Or, if you like me with no notes whatsoever, rambling about an experience during the week, let me know if you like that, and you want more of it. Let me know in the comments, and yeah, hit that bell so you're notified when it drops. I'm Durbin, thanks for checking out Durbania.